Hello, I'm Katy133, and today I'll be talking about how I hosted a visual novel game jam. I've been making VN since 2013, with my latest releases being Last Meal at Cafe Mori and Dear Devere. After participating in various game jams, I decided to host one. This became the Winter VN Jam that was held in 2020 last year. The first step is to plan out the jam and ask yourself some questions. What is the jam's theme? I picked winter for the jam I hosted because it was specific enough to prompt game ideas and vague enough that it allowed various story genres. There also weren't any visual novel related jams that had been announced on itch.io's jam page that were specifically winter themed. A theme doesn't have to be an idea like this, however. It can also be a constraint for the devs to make a game around. The jam's theme could be about making a game using a specific game engine or a limited amount of assets. Lunam Dare is a 48-hour game jam that had the tradition of only revealing its theme once the jam starts. It's a game jam that happens 3 times each year, so randomizing its theme like this fits with its format. When should the jam start and end? Be sure to check itch.io's calendar of upcoming jams. You can find the page on itch.io/jams. Try to pick a month that doesn't overlap with major VN-related jams like NaNoRenO, Spooktober, Yuri Jam, and Yaoi Jam. Unless you feel like devs can submit their VN to both your own jam and the jam it overlaps with, try not to place devs in a situation where they feel like they are choosing one jam over another. Also consider that some jam participants might be in school, so avoiding exam times is helpful. You don't want to create an environment of crunch and burnout through the game jam you're hosting. How long should the jam be? The length of the jam can imply the length of the VN submissions. The standard I've noticed for yearly VN jams like NaNoRenO and Spooktober is a month, while jams with the theme of minimalism, like the only one of any asset visual novel jam, are shorter. So your jam's theme might indicate your jam's length. And don't just ask yourself questions, ask others who have hosted jams for feedback. I got advice from Nai, who has hosted jams in the past, including last year's Spooktober jam, and he gave me a lot of feedback that was very helpful. Next, you'll need to create some art assets for the jam. The minimal art you'll need will be the logo art, page artwork, and promo art. The logo art should look polished and professional, have large dimensions to avoid it being stretched bigger, be clear enough for people to read, and have a transparent background so that it can be applied over other artwork. Jam participants may also want a copy of the transparent logo to apply to their VN's credits. I uploaded my logo design on Discord so that jam participants could more conveniently find and download it. Page artwork is made up of elements that will be in the jam's itch page, like the banner at the top of the page and a custom background. The banner can be the logo art with a background, and the custom page background can be a pattern that ideally tiles seamlessly and isn't too bright for readers with light sensitivity. Try to avoid fluorescent colors or colors with extreme saturation as the background. While I was making art assets, I also collected winter-themed stock photos. I used these to create 12 different promo images that I could post on social media to help promote the jam. I used a combination of photo bashing, color correction, and the level adjustment tools in an image editor to make adjustments I wanted to the stock photos. The various backgrounds made the posts feel less repetitive, giving viewers something new to look at. Using stock images can help speed up artwork making time, but I'd recommend using custom art for the logo itself so that it's unique to your jam and isn't associated with anything else. If you don't want to create the artwork yourself, I'd recommend commissioning an artist to create it. Next thing is to write the jams page. Itch allows you to create a jam page, which makes it easier for people to join the jam, find info on it, and find entries. Pick a hashtag that is easy to remember, short, and unique to your jam. I used WinterVNJam. When writing a jam page, be sure to provide details on the jam's theme and what the submission rules are for the jam, meaning what games people can and cannot submit. When I wrote mine, I thought about the various submissions the jam could get and whether I thought they'd benefit from the jam's promotion of their games. Since I wanted the jam to be for people who liked visual novels, the jam accepted VNs and story-heavy games. I allowed work-in-progress submissions, demos, and works that were in progress before the start of the jam. Depending on whether your jam will have judges, you may not want to allow these. But since the goal of the Winter VN Jam was to motivate developers and have a chill atmosphere, I tried to accommodate many VN devs. This lack of gatekeeping invited people to join in the jam. I ended up seeing a tweet by a developer saying that the jam accepting interactive fiction was what convinced them to join it, which was nice to hear. The rules I did set up were to invite streamers to be able to play through the entries without worrying about stumbling upon 18+ content by accident. On the jam page, I also wrote a little bit about why I wanted to create this jam. I was inspired by a winter-themed VN I played years ago called An Otaku's Guide to Santa's Reindeer, and wanted to see more VNs that focused on winter. Scheduling a meeting in a Discord server voice channel to let jam participants introduce themselves can help devs find teammates. Ideally, schedule a meeting a month before the start of the jam so devs have time to organize themselves. While there isn't a universally convenient time, try to pick an hour that is suitable for different time zones, and a day when people are less likely to be at work or at school. I picked Saturdays at 2 p.m. EST on the 7th and 21st of November, since the jam would start on the 1st of December. Prepare icebreaker questions for the meet and greet ahead of time. The questions I wrote were to help streamline the meeting and to give each person a prompt of something to add to the conversation. These prompts were to first introduce themselves and whether they were looking to join a team to make a visual novel or find other people for their team. If they were the former, the next question was what they wanted to join a team as and what kinds of projects they were interested in. If it was the latter, they'd explain a bit about their project idea and what roles they were looking for people to fill. As the meeting progresses, keep an eye on the list of people in the channel to make sure that everyone is given a chance to speak. If devs prefer to chat through text or don't have a mic, you can read out their text messages aloud on their behalf. Once the jam starts, you'll need to actively support it as it goes on. Be visible in the jam's community. For the Winter VN Jam, participants were directed to a channel in the VN-related Discord server DevTalk, where they could communicate with myself and other developers in one place. To prevent confusion, I edited my nickname on the server as Katy133 Winter VN Jam Host, so people knew I was hosting the jam. I also wrote in the channel that if anyone had questions about the jam, to feel free to ping me or private message me through Discord, so devs didn't feel hesitant to contact me through either method. I also used the channel to post links to resources I thought might be useful for the jam, such as Renpai's script for creating generated snowflakes. Because the jam's theme was winter, I thought it might be helpful and relevant to people. Once I started playing through different VNs, I noticed that several devs used it in different ways. It is very important to promote your jam, as that will let people discover it, both to join it and to play the entries. Schedule tweets and other social media posts. Checklists are your friend. I made a Trello list for everything I needed to do before and during the jam. It listed to-do posts and actions in chronological order. This checklist had a timeline spanning from a month before the jam to a month after the jam, and had about 40 different tasks. Get a partner or a team together to help promote the jam and brainstorm with. You can use Google Drive to share art assets between each other. Bayou helped me immensely with posting about the jam on social media, creating memes, bouncing ideas off of, and helping to answer questions devs had about the jam. Writing down your tweets ahead of time makes hosting easier to manage. I wrote a bunch of wintry themed tweets to send out over the course of several weeks and could schedule them to publish at peak times. Use relevant hashtags, including your jam's custom hashtag. Avoid using more than 2 hashtags per tweet. I used Indie Dev Hour, VN Dev, and Winter VN Gems custom hashtag that I created. Memes are also fun to post. The PowerPoint meme I made was especially high in engagement. I announced the Winter Jam a month prior to the start of the jam on my various social media, Twitter, Tumblr, Reddit, and DeviantArt. I found that Twitter and Discord appeared to give the most reactions. Around this time, I politely contacted the mods of relevant Discord servers to ask if the jam could be posted in their official announcement channels rather than self-promotion channels. That way, more server members could easily find it. In the month before the jam starts, promote it to devs who will be. After the first week, switch to concentrating on promoting the jam to people interested in playing the jam's entries. Check your jam's hashtag regularly and retweet other developers' posts encouragingly. Refer to your to-do checklist at the end of each week to make sure you haven't missed anything. After the jam ends, there is still work to be done. Promote the jam's entries and invite streamers and creators to play the jam submissions. After the winter jam finished, I also spent the next month playing through the jam's entries on Twitch. And as of this talk, I'm still in the process of continuing these playthroughs. After submission time closes for people to submit their itch page to the jam, remember that you can still manually add late entries to the jam. You can do this by pressing the Edit Jam button, going to the Edit Submissions tab, and pasting the game's URL address there. You will then be given a generated link to send to the dev, prompting them with a message asking if they want their game edited to the jam submissions. Some other things to consider. You might try using paid ads to promote the jam on sites like Twitter and Reddit. I didn't go with purchasing ads, so be sure to research the best strategies and ask around if you want to try making ads. Also consider judges and prizes. If you want to award prizes for the jam, you'll need to create a system to judge the games and distribute prizes. You may want to add more restrictions to jam submissions, such as limiting the amount of games each person or team can submit to the jam, to create fairness and to prevent the judges from being overwhelmed with the amount of submissions they'll need to play through. And that is my talk on hosting a visual novel jam. You can find me and my work on itch.io, Twitter, Twitch, and DeviantArt using the links I have listed on this slide. With that, please feel free to ask me questions.
Yay! So much organization. All right. Come on, guys. Let's go get some questions up here. Okay, so Sheena wanted to ask, how did you ultimately decide on the length of Winter Jam?
I tried various things. At first I tried to make some polls on Discord, and I got feedback from there. It seemed to vary between less than a month. Well, I had the option of less than a month to more than a month. People seem to want it between 1 month and 2 months. So some people actually said, could you make it 1.5 months? And I started weighing the pros and cons of it and decided that if I made it too long, people's ambitions for their projects might be too big. And also that since this was the first game jam I was hosting, I didn't want to make it more than a month because I knew that it doesn't, the work doesn't end after the jam submissions end. So I decided to go with a month, modeling it after Spooktober and NaNoWriMo.
Cool. And Wolf wants to know, when's your next game jam?
I have no idea. I wonder if people would be interested in doing another winter jam next year, or rather this year, next December.
A lot of people are saying yes.
Oh, great.
Yes. It is it yeah, you can have too much of a good thing, so don't go crazy. All right. What I saw a question here. Someone asked, what did you find most fun about hosting, and what would you say would be the biggest draw for others to give it a go?
It was really, it was so inspiring playing through the jam entries and looking through them and seeing like how polished they were, and just going through the feels and the emotions of each of the stories and getting to know all the characters. And it was just really, really inspiring to see that I helped a little bit with something that led to this group of people making something. Like it was so inspiring.
Cool. All right. Were there any unexpected challenges that arose during jam?
Um, surprisingly not. Like having Bayou with me really, really helped because it's like for morale, it's very comforting to have someone with you to brainstorm with. And if just even if nothing goes wrong, to just the knowledge of there's someone with you that you can turn to and go, what do you think we should do here? That really, really helped. And I think like the biggest issue was right after the jam submissions date came, some people messaged me and said, could you add this game? I cannot submit it now because the end date has come. So I was able to go in and manually add them in. I think I could have made it more clearer in the server channel that I could do that, like that I had admin power to just manually add them in, because I didn't want people to stress out about that.
Okay, so someone has any advice for collaborating with other jam hosts?
Well, I didn't get to collaborate with another jam host. Like I got advice from someone else who had hosted a jam. So I can't really speak from experience. I would say pick someone who is organized and that you vibe well with, someone who you would make a good team with.
Cool. Someone asked, what was the most unique, unexpected usage of your theme that you saw?
There were so many to name. Like there were because I put winter, so there were some people who went in genres I didn't expect, like you saw sci-fi, you saw horror, and then there were winter jams that were less on the snow aspect of winter and more on like the um, the experience of winter in parts of the world where it's not snowing, and that was interesting to see. I'm glad it struck people's imaginations.
A lot of people are like, let's make a sad game jam. Obviously, that is a hint for someone here to just go and make one.
Do it.
Go run the thing. Oh boy. Someone's like, get them all the blue labels. Okay. Any more questions, guys? Oh man, they're coming with all sorts of punny names
Said
for that game
Sobtober.
jam. Yeah.
That sounds great.
Sadtember, Sobtober. Someone asked, what would you have done differently?
Again, I would have made it more clear that if anyone added submissions late, that I could add them in manually. I feel like I didn't make that clear enough. I could have done that using various ways, such as writing it in the Discord server channel and maybe pinning it as well, and also tweeting it and including it on the Jam's itch page itself. Yeah, I think I could have made certain things more clearer.
No, that's always the case. There's always people who do not read the gigantic pink, yellow, blinking orange signs. Okay. Wait, who here is next on your podcast?
Oh yes, I have an ongoing visual novel podcast called Halcyon Cafe, and it focuses on visual novel development, and each episode has different guests. I'm actually not sure at the moment who is the next guest for episode 3 yet, but I'll let you know as soon as I find out.
Cool. Plug it some more. You can link to it in the speaker links thingy.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. I'm like dodging a kid right next to me with a banana. Anyway, yes, the link will be posted. Yeah, there's like a long list of people who want to be on your podcast. Okay.
There we go. I've added it now. In speaker links.
Cool. All right, we're a couple of minutes early, but if any last questions, if there isn't, we're going to just hand it off